Hey friends, our second reason on common reasons that we are failing when we're starting a new health and wellness journey or the long-term lifestyle change. What I want to talk about today is the lack of structure and the lack of having a plan when we're starting those new journeys. What is up, friends? I am talking about the second reason, common reasons that we fail when we're starting a new long-term lifestyle change. What is up, friends? I am talking about What is up, friends? Today we are talking about the second reason, the most common reasons why we fail when starting a new lifelong sustainable lifestyle change, a new healthy lifestyle, New Year's resolutions. The list goes on different ways to label these things. Today I'm talking about the lack of structure and the lack of planning when we're starting these new journeys. Structure does protect our motivation, guys. As we've talked about in our previous videos, motivation is not everything. You can't rely on it because it's going to fail you if you're not setting yourself up for success, for discipline, for getting things done even when you don't feel like it. And that's where the effort, that internal effort of reaching out of our ego, reaching out of that inner bee voice, thinking of every single reason why you shouldn't meal prep, why you shouldn't work out, why you shouldn't set your gym clothes out, why you shouldn't go to the gym after a long, exhausting day at work, dealing with the kids, whatever your situation may be. Setting yourself up for success and pushing past those things again and again is going to create that momentum that we keep talking about, guys. You need to create that momentum to want to keep doing it, to want to keep craving those healthy foods, that healthy lifestyle, the exercise, the endorphins being released when you do move your body intentionally, being that example for your neighbor, for your family, your spouse, whatever your situation may be. And I really want to dig into, because what the small things and the big picture, it's going to look different than the person next to you. What works for me and what the steps I've had to take is going to look different than what yours are going to be. And I want to show my sympathy towards that and that reality check. But the big picture of being in a calorie deficit, of moving your body intentionally, consistently, consistency, eating nourishing foods again and again, saying no to the processed foods and the added sugars, and making those little steps that are going to lead to that calorie deficit, you having more energy to work out, etc., etc. Big picture, those are the things that are going to work for everybody. But the steps to get there, they're going to look different. So I want to evaluate today, if you made it this far in this video, what your current situation, because again, being radically honest with where you are at and how you want to move forward and how you're going to have to move forward to get to that lifestyle change, that goal, whatever it may be. I want you to evaluate your current structure and how you are setting yourself up for failure, or how you are currently setting yourself up for success, for the little wins, because the little wins are going to lead to the big wins. We are infatuated in America and, just the West in general with the quick fix, the detox, the quick challenge, booty burner, whatever it may be. But being radically honest on needing a structure and more of a plan is what's going to get you there in the long run. So I really want you to evaluate what your current situation is when it comes to structure and planning things out for the week. For me, meal prepping proteins helps set me up for success with my food, guys. Getting enough protein. I struggle more not overeating, but I'm somebody that struggles with undereating. And I'm not saying one is better than the other, okay? Undereating is not good for you and your metabolism and whatnot. And that means that I'm not getting enough protein to go off of when I strength train and building that muscle and whatnot. So for me, being radically honest with the fact that if I don't meal prep and have food ready and I'm on the go, got to take my son somewhere, it's go, a busy day, a busy period, I'm not going to eat enough. I'm not going to get enough protein. I'm going to feel fatigued, and, might over caffeinate in that case, and that's just me personally. For you, you might struggle with overeating. So in that aspect, you might go through the drive-through, you might get that cheeseburger or the quick thing that you think is healthy, that they claim to be healthy, but it's loaded with preservatives. And not saying that there's good food or bad food, but this is just an example of that food is either going to fuel you or it's going to fatigue you. And most likely if you're going through a drive-through line, that food is not going to add much fuel to you. So I really want you to evaluate where you currently are at with your diet, your structure on working out. I've got a very good handle, very good discipline on my workouts because I've done it over and over for so long, guys, that I know that once I put my gym clothes on and drive to the gym, or I am blessed to have a home gym, once I get started, it's done. It's getting done. I mean, I can't think of the last time that I walked into the gym or a gym and just said, yeah, this isn't gonna happen. Because I know once I get my clothes on and I get there, I hydrate, have a good nourishing meal and whatnot, I know I'm gonna feel better after. Even if there's every excuse in the world not to do it, I know that I'm going to feel better after I work out. So setting yourself up with, it's cliche, a lot of people say set your clothes up the night before if you're a morning person who wants to go work out and whatnot, or if you're not a morning person. If you are like me, where I was more of an evening when I worked the corporate job and whatnot, I would take my clothes with me and go work out right after work. It was like my non-negotiable. Again, I could have had a mentally draining day. I sat a lot. There could have been so many reasons I didn't want to do it. But once I got into the gym, put my headphones on, got my playlist going, it was getting done. It was getting done. But that's taken so much time and years, guys, years and years of doing that and showing the discipline. I've been to a few different gyms. I've been through different seasons in my training and whatnot. But taking the time to structure and prioritize those things, it's what has led me to, it's a non-negotiable. It's part of my lifestyle. I strength train at least 4 times a week, every single week. I get my steps in whenever I can. Somebody wants to sit and go out to eat at a fast food restaurant. My compromise when it's warmer out is, hey, let's go for a walk. Let's chat a little bit and move our bodies. I have my son now, push him in the stroller. Not that that's a non-negotiable, but that's just how my mindset has shifted over the years of maintaining active movement, guys. Your body's going to feel so much better if you prioritize those things, and having that structure and having that routine and your body truly craving those things. That is my message to you, the lifelong sustainable change. I want you to have those same things. I want you to have that same mindset. I'm not perfect. There's still a lot of things that I can improve on, like I've talked about with my diet, with getting enough protein in. I'm someone who, my bladder isn't the greatest, so drinking my water and prioritizing that. It sucks having to pee constantly, speaking from a girl, but you know what? I feel better, my skin's better, etc. with water. So, I could go on and on about ways to prioritize those things, but starting with at square one, where are you at with your structure and your workouts, guys? How can you improve this week? If it's meal prepping, if it's carrying around a water bottle like most people do, if it is just starting with 1 to 2 workouts and then going from there, you just have to start. I know it sounds so simple, but that's how the name of the game is. It's so simple, we like to make it difficult, guys. And I really want to encourage you to evaluate again, what is your goal? What is your end game? What is the sustainable end game for you? What does that look like? But you have to be willing to mentally and physically put in the work to get yourself there. And I am not the coach or the trainer who says balance and YOLO and all these little habits, guys, that are going to drain you. Your habits, your lifestyle, it's either going to drain you or it's going to fuel you towards your future. And currently, if you made it this far in this video, I have to place a bet that there are a lot of things that are probably draining you that you can compromise on, that you can learn to be a little bit more disciplined on. Diet, exercise, where your money's going, budgeting, going out for happy hour 1 to 2 times a week. Hey, you know what? Alcohol is a little bit expensive, and that money could be used towards something else a little bit healthier. Just saying. That iced coffee that you spend $7, $8 on several times a week, get a coffee machine at home, save that money. I love my coffee too, but for the most part, I'm using my Nespresso, and those pods are, I don't know, $1 something, but that's a lot cheaper than the $8 Starbucks and whatnot. And a lot of people, when they hear that, they instantly reach into their ego and they're saying, Michaela's saying that I can't go to Starbucks and I can't go get a cheeseburger and I can't order takeout, blah, 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 blah. Guys, we need to stop thinking in extremes, okay? You need to stop getting so butthurt about one little snippet of what somebody's saying online and taking that completely out of context, okay? Yes, I believe in balance. Yes, I believe in going and getting that coffee or having a pizza every once in a while is more than reasonable. But I will never be the trainer or the coach to see those habits happening again and again and being the one to say, you just gotta live your life. You just gotta keep eating that processed food, drinking that alcohol, hooking up with that person. These habits that are draining us, guys, as a society. The first video I talked about, we're in a burnout epidemic, specifically for women. There are men, obviously there's stuff that we can get into about them, but speaking as women, guys, we are burnt out. Whether you are a mom, you're working the corporate system, whatever your situation may be, for the most part, not every single person, we are getting burnt out. Our food is garbage that is being offered to us, our nutrition, the postpartum experience, blah, 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 blah. And being radically honest about those things, speaking those things out loud, acknowledging them is the starting step. But then I want to encourage you for that next step. What am I going to do about it? What can I do about it? How can I set a better example for myself, my family, my friends, my community, and most importantly, the next generation? I'm not saying that it's everything that changed for me, but having a son, having my first child, guys, it changed everything for me with my mindset, because he's going to grow up in this society. I can't relate as, being a woman and he's a boy. There's going to be some differences, but he is my son. He is going to be picking up after what we leave for him in the future, what you leave for him. Not saying to do it for your kids in the next generation, but the quote of, if you're willing to do anything for your kids, the least you could do is get healthy for them. I fully acknowledge that your situation is different than mine. This is a screen. I'm just pretend we're making eye contact and I'm saying this to you face to face, my friend. I fully acknowledge that your situation is different than mine. But there's always more that we can do with our structure and our routine, like what we're talking about in this video. I want to encourage you to think about where you are at and where you want to be. Where do you want to be, friend? And specifically from a personal trainer's perspective in your health and wellness journey, I want to encourage you to look at your diet, your exercise choices, how you're spending your time, how you're spending your money. Because there's always something that we can do. And I really want to encourage you to dig deep. If you really want the lifelong, sustainable lifestyle change, what can you do about that? What can you do? Because I'm here, it's virtual, but I'm cheering you on. And I believe that you can do those things. I believe with all my soul and being that you can achieve that. You can. But I'm also going to be the one to tell you to really dig deep. Don't think of this, take this from a place of ego. And again, think Michaela's saying I need to do blah, 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 and I'm not allowed to do blah, blah, blah. It's one or the other, but it's got to be the lifestyle change, guys. Nothing changes if nothing changes. And the best transformations that you see, where you just see the before and after picture, video, quick 15-second testimony, guys, There was real work done in here, real work. They lost some people along the way. They lost, you know, I'm about ready to turn 30, and I could have spent my last 5 years still going out drinking, living that life and whatnot. That's not me. I'm not built that way. I want more for myself. I want more for my family. I want more for my son. And if you're watching this and you're listening to the same podcast and you are trying to win in this life and as an individual, yeah, that's a good thing. May suck and you're gonna look a little bit different right now to some people, but here's me telling you, you're not alone, friend. So let's look at this week. How can you improve with your structure, your planning, get those workouts done, get that movement in. Dial in on that nutrition. Dial in on those little habits, guys. They're either going to drain you or they're going to be the fuel to that fire to make the change. I believe in you. Have a great week.